Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team maybe getting higher, potentially. Bet you didn't know I had one of these, huh? Yeah, that's Hall on the back. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. I have been so vocal about not wanting him on the team. In all seriousness, this is a different episode. We're just going to talk a little bit, and then I want to hear your opinions in the comments. Let's start with the big fish. Taylor Hall, baby. We got Hall. And Curtis Lazar, who's actually a sneaky good pickup. The Boston Bruins acquired Taylor Hall and Curtis Lazar for Anders Bjork and a second-round pick this year in the 2021 draft. That is right. In the weaker draft, that's the pick they got. I'm surprised they didn't push it for next year's because, well, next year's draft's a lot better. I'm surprised by a lot of this from Buffalo's side. We'll get to the Bruins side of it, but let's talk about the Buffalo side because a lot of it is confusing. Taylor Hall is acquired for a price that most people think is under his value, even with the bad season he's having. Not only that, but they sold on Taylor Hall 15 hours before the actual trade deadline. You can hold off on that trade. The trade will be there come 2:48 on Monday. But no, they decided to trade early and trade for a package that, well, if we're going to be honest, is eclipsed by some of the other packages that people are getting. Here's the thing. From Buffalo's side, Taylor Hall has a no-move clause. And it appears from interviews after the trade that Hall's idea was always to come to the Bruins. That was the plan since the season went to the shitter. He kind of forced his way here. We must have sort of known that. I don't know if you know who Taylor Hall's agent is, but he's a famous number 4 that likes the Bruins quite a bit. I'm not saying there's foul play there, but I'm saying the Bruins probably knew that they were in the lead, that they were in the driver's seat for it. They gave what they had to get him, and not a dime more. Before you get on me, I know that Taylor Hall's agent isn't currently Bobby Orr, but it was. Let's talk about this from Taylor Hall's perspective. He wants to be part of a winning culture. He wants to go to a winning team. He's never had that before. And from a couple of the quotes that he's had, most importantly, that things have not been going his way. He rightfully admitted that he's not the most confident hockey player right now. That's a humble man coming in ready and hungry. I'm okay with that attitude. I am okay with him announcing that he's been humbled by all of this. Because if he's going to come in and work his ass off, then he's going to fit in right away. I think he's excited. He has also said that he'd like to be a Bruin for a few years. We'll see if that works out. I'm not holding my breath. For now, he's a rental. From Boston's side of things, we give up Anders Bjork, who is a young professional skater. He is a bottom 6 forward. He belongs on an NHL team, but he was clearly already on the outs with the team. That's not a big loss. We knew we were going to send him away. It was just about who for. A second-round pick, we don't care right now. We think our cup window is still open. A second-round pick means jack shit. That's it. That's the trade. You do that 10 times out of 10. Curtis Lazar, awesome pickup for a fourth-line guy, fourth-line energy guy. He's got another year on his $850,000 cap hit. That's perfect. We'll keep him around. He's currently on injured reserve, I believe. So we'll see if we even see him this year. When that offer gets accepted, though, I mean, that's huge news. Sweeney gets the win. That's a 1 trade right off the bat. If this blows up in our face, we go, we lost a second-round pick and Anders Bjork, who we didn't like that much anyway. No one cares. The only way this goes wrong in a way that really screws us is if we miss the playoffs, that second-round pick turns out to be something decent, and Anders Bjork lights up the league for, like a, second-line winger for 10 years. I don't see any of that happening. Also, the reason the cap situation worked out with Hall is because Buffalo retained 50% and still only got a second-round pick out of it. Not only that, but because it's a prorated rate of 17 games left in the season, we didn't have to pay the full $4 million either. So the cap hit isn't as high. We made it work. I don't really care after that. Hall will likely slot in next to Krejci and potentially Pasta if Smith stays on that first line. I really hope that works out. Pasta finds his game with an elite playmaker like Hall. Smith gets to stay on the top line where he's been really, really good the past 10 games. Not too shabby. Now, people will criticize the Hall trade because they will say that Hall has 2 goals in 30-something games and that he's looked bad and questionable effort and all this stuff. I get it. I was vocal about not wanting Hall. I didn't think the price was this low. For this price, this risk is super worth it. Not only that, but maybe I didn't do enough homework, which now I have done. 2.3 shooting percentage this year. Unbelievably unlucky. That is down 7.7 from his career average, which is usually hovering around 10%. That is going to go back to the mean at least a little bit. Not only that, but when you look at his analytics, he is a neutral zone demon. His entries, his possession, his ability to find his teammates crossing that line, that is going to be huge for us, and we need it right now because we have just been lacking in the transition game. A lot of that comes from our defense, but if he can help with that, I'm all for it. Especially for a second-round pick. So a rental for Hall and a year left on Lazar's. I say A+ on that trade. I really like it for us. It's worth the risk, and it's very unlikely it blows up in our face. Also, let's talk about the other trade that's getting completely swept under the rug, but I think is a sneaky good pickup. Mike Riley from the Ottawa Senators for a 2022 third-round pick. Again, if there's a cup run coming, we don't give a shit about that third-round pick. This is the same thing with Toronto and Nick Foligno. Now, obviously, they paid a higher price. If Toronto makes a cup run, then who gives a shit what they paid for Foligno? Especially if they win the cup. No one fucking cares. They could have given 4 first-rounders. Doesn't fucking matter. They finally got the cup. Riley is another rental, but he's a left-shot defenseman who plays a offense-heavy kind of game, but he is not sheltered. He is good in transition. He's not the toughest. So we're lacking that still, and unfortunately we didn't really do anything to fix that. McAvoy and Carlo coming back healthy would, but we don't have a lot of power in the middle of the ice, especially when we're trying to kill off a penalty. Riley reminds me a lot of Smith, actually, in the way that he is an analytics darling. Just everything kind of looks good with him. There's a lot of Corsi percentages that go his way, Fenwick percentages that go his way. His possession in general is just a solid metric across the board, especially for a bad Ottawa team. So you're really looking at this as nice little pickup, little more depth. He might slot in as our number 4 defenseman, second left side against Carlo. That would be a really nice setup if we have Grizz, McAvoy, Riley, Carlo. Fill in the bottom, I guess it's Lauzon, Clifton, but don't get me wrong, he's not going to score a lot of goals, but he'll probably get a decent amount of assists. Basically, what this means is that through this trade deadline, we have received Taylor Hall, Mike Riley, and Curtis Lazar for Anders Bjork, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick. That's pretty good. That's a good haul for a team that's trying to push for the playoffs, trying to push for a real cup run. What this also tells me is that Don Sweeney's looking at the injury timetables, he's looking at the team and going, we'll be healthy, we'll be ready. You don't make these types of moves if it's like McAvoy, I don't know if he's even going to be ready round 1. Carlo, I don't know when he's going to be ready. If there's just a bunch of question marks everywhere, you don't make these moves. You make these moves when you know, okay, we're going to have a week and a half, 2 weeks with almost our full team. If nothing else goes wrong, that is still a huge vote of confidence for the boys. I'm excited. This is a good trade deadline. We didn't sell the farm. Not that we have much of one anyway. But we did grab some pieces that are potentially huge for us. Look, if it comes out tomorrow that we sign Taylor Hall to a 3-year extension, might be even better. That won't happen, but it might be better. Thanks for watching, guys. Please tell me what you think in the comments. I want to argue, I want to fight, I want to tell you to fuck off! But I don't because I love you. Go Bees!